I'm Ryan from ExtremeTerrain.com, and this is my review of the Raxiom rear parking sensors fitting all 2007 and up JKs. Today we're going to go through the installation of these as well as some of the features and the functions. This is for those of you who are interested in adding some creature comforts of more modern vehicles to your JK that is otherwise sometimes lacking. This system will audibly let you know as you back up when you're getting close to an object. This is certainly helpful in tight spaces if you do a lot of parallel parking, or if you just don't have a lot of visibility behind your Jeep thanks to a large rear tire, or really any other obstruction. Now, this is not going to give you a visual cue like a backup camera would, but this is also going to be less expensive and easier to install than a backup camera, so there is certainly a trade-off there. As far as construction goes, this kit includes everything you're going to need to get it wired up and all of the components. That includes 4 sensors that will be spaced along the rear of the vehicle, a module that controls all of the electronics and really makes everything work together, a speaker that audible beep will come right out of, and of course a wiring harness to tie everything together. There's a little bit of wiring involved in getting this set up. You are going to have to pick up a reverse trigger and also a power wire. So there's a little bit of wiring, but all in all, this is a fairly easy install, even though it does require some drilling. So to get into the install a little bit further, as I mentioned, this does require drilling into the bumper of your Jeep. If you are somebody who's not too concerned about that, is comfortable drilling into your body, that's not going to be a big deal for you. If you haven't drilled into your body and if you do have some concerns about drilling, I would recommend that you take this to a shop and have them install it. For that reason, I do give this a strong 2 out of 3 wrenches because of the drilling and a little bit of wiring that's necessary as well. If you're comfortable with drilling, if you're comfortable with automotive wiring, this is definitely something you can tackle in your garage. The first thing to do is to measure and lay out where you want the sensors to go. Of course, measure twice, cut once. In this case, probably measure more than twice. You want to make sure that you get those holes drilled in the right location. Once you have them drilled out, you can go ahead and run all of your wiring. And then before you actually put the sensors into the newly drilled holes, you want to check the angle of the sensors. Now, on your JK in a factory rear bumper, the face of that bumper is pretty well vertical. These sensors do come with a couple different bezels for different angles, so you'll probably want to use the one that is set up for a vertical angle. However, if you're installing these into a metal aftermarket bumper that does have an angle to it, then you will have to swap out the bezels for one of the angled ones to make sure that these sensors work properly. The whole installation is probably going to take you around 3 hours by the time you drill all of your holes and get all of your wiring run and hooked up. And you won't need any real specialty tools, however, you are going to need some wiring tools and of course a drill. There are a lot of different ways to help you see behind you when you're backing up. As I mentioned before, a backup camera is a great option, however, it requires the camera, the wiring, and a screen to view it on. This system here simplifies things a little bit by giving you an audible beep instead of a visual cue. This way you don't need a monitor. What all of that means is there are less components involved in this system, so it's certainly less expensive than a backup camera. In my opinion, a backup camera is a little bit easier to use, but I would certainly rather have this than nothing at all. And as far as reverse sensing systems go, I think this one's really well put together. It's going to work properly, the instructions that come with it are very clear, and in my opinion, it's worth the price. So whether you have an obstructed view behind you from a large spare tire, or you just find it hard to see behind you when you're backing up in your JK, a reverse sensing system like this will definitely help in those tight parking situations. If you're not interested in installing a reverse camera because of all the additional components that it needs, this is a little bit of a simpler way of going about it, but still helping you park. So that's my review of the Raxiom rear parking sensors fitting all 2007 and up JKs that you can find right here at ExtremeTerrain.com.